So, in this speech, I'm just going to summarize the reasons why we believe that the proposition should be carried through. I'll start with going through the points that have been brought up after my speech. The first example brought up by the second negative speaker was that other kids learned from the disabled students, and they brought up the idea of a wheelchair swing, which I do not think applies because it's not a mental disability. Mainstreaming is something done to children with learning disabilities, and being physically incapable is not a learning disability. The way they talk about teachers learning from exposure, it sort of reeks of trial and error, and I don't think that's necessarily a proper way to educate our children. And so the points that we believe, the reason why we believe the affirmative should win this debate is because the plan, while they did bring up that there is a budget problem, we have acknowledged that money is already being spent on education or special education, and we have, in this case, we believe that since medical care is mandatory for the United States, and since special needs students have a legal medical disability, we can subsidize their education as medical care. And because of that, we believe we've provided sufficient reasoning for funding of the case. And the primary reason I believe that the affirmative should win this case is because if you look at the examples that they brought up, they said that there are backups and that children can always be placed in a separate class if they couldn't fit in the regular one. And that essentially sums up our entire reasoning, because we're saying that they don't fit in regular classes and that they should be put in separate classrooms. The reasoning behind that is because we've established that bullying is such a prominent problem, and that there really are no answers to that. They state that if they're not educated in the schools, then when are they going to learn tolerance? But I don't believe that's a proper display of the situation, because tolerance is something, in the adult world, they say that there isn't this clear separation of disabled and non-disabled, but I think there is. I think that people are clearly separated, and the only way they can actually be tolerated in our society is if they have the skills that they learn through their education. And to learn those skills, they must not be hampered by the form of education, by being homogenized with everyone else. The second negative mentioned that parents are fighting to get mainstream, but something that needs to be mentioned is that teachers are fighting against mainstreaming. The American Federation of Teachers, 78% of them believe that mainstreaming does not help Mainstreaming does not help students with learning disabilities, and 87% believe that it doesn't help students with the other students who don't have learning disabilities. Finally, I believe that we win because the point was brought up that mainstreaming was established so that things can be equal. However, the distinction has to be made between equal treatment versus equal opportunity. Equal treatment, we treat everyone the same, but I believe equal opportunity is more important, where we give each person the same chance to achieve not just the same school, the same physical presence. And for this reason, I believe that mainstreaming should be discontinued in the United States. Thank you.